obviously there's some very technical skills that you picked up along the way, particularly around what you've been doing in your role. But it'd be good if you could just talk through some of the soft skills as well as the harder skills that you've learned in your career, and then how you've used them when you've moved from different companies and actually jumped from traditional finance into crypto. What's transferable? How have you used it? And what advice can you give younger people?
Oh gosh, I mean, that's that's um that's a great question. I think I'll tell you. I mean, we talk a bit about my background, but I remember when I came to England, I came for grad school, and when I finished grad school, I started working as a quant um, for Barclays actually, um, and um, and I have a very quantitative job and modeling risk for a large interest rate book, and so I have to model swaptions and pricing of interest rate options and so on. Um, one of the interesting things is that you get so into your small bubble. Okay, so you have such a steep learning curve, and that steep learning curve, as you go through time, it becomes less steeper and steeper and steeper. And one of the fascinating things that you get is that, as you said, you develop some sort of, some sort of other kind of, I would say, knowledge around what is actually going on in the broader scope of what you kind of are trying to achieve. So what I think it is important is that, people can tend to be very bogged down into the technicals. But the technicals is a very important part, particularly when you are growing or when you start in your career. But as your career evolves, you need to kind of be able to try and, you need to kind of, or be, not to be able, but some people may not want to do it, but it will be very useful to be able to translate your technicals into easy, understandable, and explainable way to people. And that's a fantastic skill to have. All right. And that's a skill that can take different places to people. And I always think, there is very difficult to find quants that can actually be incredibly technical, at the same time have the confidence to explain things in the more simple way than, by the way, you probably remember the phrase from Einstein that said things can be simple but not simpler. Okay, so you can explain things in a simple way, but maybe they're quite complex. No, but the important thing is that it requires a lot of confidence for people to be able to do that, because it's very easy to bombard people with a lot of jargon and stuff like that. So being able to build those skills as you go along, it is an incredible, powerful thing, because you still have your technical knowledge. Of course, I mean, things that evolve, you need, people talk about, I mean, I remember when one of the things that allow me to basically get the greatest opportunities, and I'm incredibly grateful to the people that hire me. It was because I can actually code. I can actually, basically, program. Okay. And we always think, oh, wow, if you're not being able to program now, you can't do that. But, if you can program and at the same time you can articulate things, you can explain things, and you can, it's very important. And maybe those skills in the near future are going to be very different, because, I mean, with a lot of the AI stuff, probably the coding becomes a less relevant thing, but asking the right question becomes even more important, as we know that is crucial. So my advice is to people to say, okay, yeah, focus in your careers on the technical side is important. Develop a good skill is very important, but make sure that you don't lose the north about expanding the universe of things that you're thinking about it, and that don't tend to actually kind of underestimate the powerful of those soft skills that you are going to develop through your career. And if anything, put an emphasis on those. I think that's a very important, particularly to people who actually have very strong quantitative skills and they're very into technology and stuff like that. I think is key. Lastly, probably the other advice that I've always think about it and it makes me is that don't be afraid to take risk. I mean, and I know that becomes a bit of a cliche, but the way that I think about this is that everyone feels that in order to be good in a subject, you need, for example, formal education on that. Okay? So, and that's true probably for some very specific subjects. Okay? So if you're going to become a neurosurgeon, probably you cannot learn that through YouTube and, open the spine of someone. Probably that won't go too well. But I think there's multiple other subjects where you can develop an excellent amount of knowledge and skill without that. Okay, so what I mean by this is that don't put yourself into a box because you did X or Y or Z, and at university, for example, you didn't go to university. Just be open mind, take risk, educate yourself. There's a vast amount of knowledge now. Take advantage of all the tools that are up there, and it's an incredible easy way to learn at this stage. I mean, without kind of going and expending a lot of money in tuition fees, and take advantage of that. And what you need to do is just to have the mindset and the flexibility to say, oh, actually, I'm good about this. I got a lot of knowledge and I can put it in practice. And that requires a bit of a risk taking.
How can a student or a young person who may have started their career, how can they get into the crypto and digital asset side of the business? Do they need experience in that world to start a career?
I would say no. I mean, I think what you need is, first of all, I mean, if we go through a bit of what we kind of been talking over the last 50 minutes or so, but if first of all, you need to kind of have a curiosity for what is all crypto. Okay, so that's very important. Okay, so you need to have that interest, that motivation. We talk about decentralization, some of the ethos. I mean, what is the digital assets are trying to solve? What's the problem is? I mean, and again, these are very important things. I mean, by the way, I didn't say this to you, but I was born in Venezuela. I grew up in Venezuela, so I saw what inflation can do to yourself. Okay, or to your families, and I saw what it can actually do to a country by managing, monetary policy, or actually, completely depreciating the currency. So there is a lot of things that actually kind of produce a lot of interest in your day-to-day life. So that's one thing. Two, I think it is important to kind of make sure that we don't underestimate how powerful is financial theory. I mean, all this, basically concept of investments and financial concepts are incredibly powerful. So I would know basically, kind of underestimate that. So if someone have the interest in crypto and actually interest in financial theory, I mean, this is an incredible powerful way to kind of build a career, and again, be motivated, be basically relentless. I mean, I think that's basically, resilience is one of the things that is more important. Okay, so there's going to be very good periods of crypto, there's going to be very bad periods of crypto, but if you really kind of think that this is something that you're motivated, that you feel that it's actually have a lot of interest on and fits within your way to think, yeah, I mean, this is maybe the right thing for you.
So 10 years from now, say in like 2035, will crypto kind of be the main, or cryptocurrencies, digital currencies, will they completely overtake the way people transact financially around the world? will that become the main means of transactions?
I just don't know if it's going to be in 10 years. I think it definitely will be in a very different place to where we are now in one shape or form. That's for sure. That's easy for me to say, but I think if you ask me what adoption means, what full adoption means, which is a slightly different way to put your question on, is that full adoption would mean that instead of actually you opening your mobile phone and say, I'm going to transfer this I'm a friend of mine 20 pounds or so, and you will probably do that through a wallet. Okay, so and it will be basically through a blockchain, and I'm thinking we are very far away from that. Okay, I think if we going back to a lot of the points that we make in this discussion about the rails and how the bank industry is trying to catch up with technologies and all these different things. But at some point in time, you will see that basically the more natural way for people to transfer things is by using the blockchain. And that could be not only 20 pounds, it can be something else. And it can be some other digital assets. And I think that's what I do think at that point in time. Forget about people doing a SWIFT transfer or this and that. It's just going to be basically, or writing a check, which is at the moment probably no one does anymore. It will be very, very similar with the blockchain.
Looking the other way, if you went back in time and you were confronted with your 18-year-old self, what would you say?
I will probably, what I would say to myself, I think it probably will do probably very similar to what I've done in terms of my interest. It's kind of difficult for me to kind of say, okay, I will actually have becoming I don't know, a singer or an artist or something like that, because I don't really kind of have that interest at the moment. But so my interest will be the same. I would probably say that I will actually have taken more risk. I probably would actually have done that, and I probably would actually worry less. But then basically it would be a different person. I would be wired differently. So I think taking risk, but at the same time understanding risk is important. I think there's every single decision that you take day in and out involves some risk. Even not taking a decision involves taking risk. Okay, so, and I think if people I'll probably be more familiar with the concept of risk from their very early stages. I think that's something that I will tell to my 18-year-old myself.
Fantastic. Javier, thank you so much for joining us today.
No, it's great to see you, Matt, and great to be here, and very happy to basically to keep in touch.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.